Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find all episodes on any podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and watch episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure to follow Spoiler Force on all social media platforms at Spoiler Force Podcast. Before we begin this episode, I want to thank the Spoiler Force patrons for their patronage. Thank you to Mcarthur, Orion Vang, Lursu Yang, and Yilang Lee. Thank you guys for the support.
This is Harlacher, and you're watching Spoiler Force.
All right, so this is episode 123 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. So this week's episode is based on the AKon or Project AKon episode 31. We are AKon Experience that we had this past weekend. So originally we were gonna have my cousin Bobby on here too, but he had something come up last minute. So it's okay. Michael was there as well. Bobby just helped me with the interview with Stefan Schweitz. So that I wanted to get Bobby's thoughts on that. But then it's okay. If you haven't, that interview will probably be out before or after this episode. I got the audio and everything like down now. I synced it all up. I just have to edit it fit visibly so that it'll look a little bit more appealing. That's like my first time doing any press interview at a convention. So shout out to AKon and the press team, to Nadia for this experience. This past weekend, as hectic as it was, overall, it was a very great and very a big learning experience, and just doing press, talking to artists, voice actors, cosplayers, and all that stuff. But yeah, man. So we'll just start with Friday, man. I left work early on Friday to get there. They pick a press ticket, not press tickets, but the press passes. So me and Bobby went, and we pretty much just sat out there, got to parking, and my God, dude, parking on Friday and Saturday were freaking hell. And what's funny is me and Bobby got lucky with parking on the third floor. And so whenever we got up there on Friday and Saturday, every time we got up there, someone backed out. Oh no, Michael, you drove on Saturday, but when Bobby drove me, when I took Bobby, someone backed out, and we were able to take that spot on the third floor. But yeah, man, like Friday was just going in there, experiencing the con, just getting a feel of the floor. We did miss one panel that I wanted to. Well, I didn't want to go to, but we did miss one panel, which was the Demon Slayer one. That one was like in the early afternoon, so we missed that one. I think Mark Whitten was in it. I'm not sure if Erica Harlacher was in it, but I know Mark was in there. But we missed that one, which is okay. You got there, and then me and Bobby pretty much waited for you, and then we just browsed the exhibitor hall pretty much.
Yeah. So Friday I couldn't get off work as early as I wanted to, so Friday was just a huge hit the ball running. I was just busy at work, and then and I got really lucky. And funny you mentioned parking, because I got really lucky.
Yeah, you parked in the third floor too, right?
No, I parked in the other garage. So I pulled in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then the guy taking the cars coming in came up and asked me hey, what are you here for? I'm like, I'm here for AKon, the convention over there. And he says, oh, we're not taking parking for that event. And I said, what if I'm not going to AKon? And he's like, well, what are you here for? I'm like, it's a show at Toyota tonight, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm here for that. He's like, okay, go ahead. He was real cool about it. He was real cool. So I got really lucky, but that's about all the luck I got on that day, because man, I met you guys at Bar Louie, and they were not
Bar Louie
ready
busy
for the amount of people that are in that area. So I think I sat down. We were there for like 2 hours, it felt like. And I got zero service. No one asked me for water, no one asked me for drinks. So
it took us a while to even, because that's where we met Oscar, Ty, and their friend that dressed up as Isidori. I think his name was Julian. we met them
mhm.
there, and then Bobby bought them rounds because they were waiting too. So like we
Yeah.
just like did shots together and like we're waiting, you know. So, um, but yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned show. I did want to mention this as well. Friday, we intended to stay Friday because of Fauna, and
That's
because
our
they
reason for kind of going.
and because they weren't there. Oh my god! Like nothing against AKon for that. We get it, visas and all the traveling stuff and all that. It's just
We're
situation wise,
bummed.
it sucked. It
We're
really
bummed.
sucks because as big Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid fans, their openings for season 1 and 2 are the reason why we wanted to go see them live. Don't get me wrong, their music's good, but I wanted to see them live because of that.
Of course, of course. I mean, you probably you heard it in the or I guess we did talk about it a little on the pre um the pre live stream that we did.
Oh yeah,
We did mention a little bit about it there, but yeah, we're pretty big. Okay, not big fans of them. I've heard some of their other music, but we just wanted to weeb out to Kobayashi's Dragon Maid music. So
yeah.
um
I just wanted to see them live just
oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I have their music on my phone too. Like just because I listened to a few of their tracks. Like I just that would have been such a great experience. And plus lately I've been getting a lot of Miss Kobayashi merch or like a lot of prints because I got to meet Leah Clark at Collecticon. So like I've
Mm.
been on this I guess like this restart up of like binging Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid again and just watching the show. And so for anyone who's listening, please, if you have not checked out that show yet, please do. It is fantastic. I've talked about it constantly in these like so on several episodes and have not even made time to make that a topic for an episode yet. So I still got to do that. But yeah, they had the artists and like other musicians in the back of AKon, like where you like on Friday they let us enter on the side, right? It wasn't where we went on Saturday and Sunday because
Yeah,
it were
I didn't realize that. So when you guys got there first, did you go through the side door as well?
yeah, yep.
Okay, I guess they probably rerouted everyone because they didn't realize
It
how
was
just how
cramped.
many people were there.
Well, yeah, because like
So,
that walkway, when you walk straight into the doors after you get your badge, your
mhm.
not your badge, but your bags checked. There, you know, like when you walk in, the escalators are on your
Yeah, that
left,
whole area out there. Yeah.
and so like you could just walk into those side doors, which is meant for exiting, but then they open it for entry. So that was on Friday. So like when you walk in there, on that back side, on the right side, if you're going through those doors, that's where all the like the musicians and the vocal booths and the recording area was at. And so I think that's where Fauna could have been at had they been there. But
Mhm,
man,
mhm.
I'm in a way I'm glad they weren't there because that area would have been swamped. So as packed as it was at AKon on the whole weekend, like it was kind of glad that they weren't there because like it would have been even more hectic just waiting in line. And I guess we could just start off with this, right? So you know, when I say AKon 2022 experience, I'm talking about everything, pros and cons. Now, I'm not gonna bash on the venue or the event people who held the event, but what did suck though, or what wasn't great, was just it was just so swamped in those aisles. You know, Artist Alley, everyone was right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and even with masks and hand sanitizer, it was very crowded and it just shows you how big this event was for everyone who wanted to come by. And I just for me, I just wish that the I guess the floors could have been utilized a little bit better. Um, that fourth floor, no one really. They I know they did like they put some autographs for voice actors up there, but I
Mhm.
kind of wish they could have utilized that area a little bit more to kind of just space out the artist. Putting everyone on the main floor, it was just very hectic. And you
Yeah.
know, some people at conventions don't shower, they don't put on deodorant and
There's a lot of
smelly
body
leaves.
smells, organic smells coming from the floor. Um,
But yeah,
but I
but
mean,
that's probably the worst of what I have to say.
I'll say my 2 cents about it. Like I kind of get. I kind of just played it out in my head. Well, what if they put some of the what if they put the voice actors and the guests on the top floor? I mean, that's a good showroom for them. But then, really, whoever they put on the top floor is kind of gonna get screwed over a little because,
Yeah,
again, my biggest issue with the event is there was only one like is a two-way escalator, one up and one down, but that was the only way to get up and down. If you were handicapped, there was an elevator available for you, but they started to have to cut people off from going up and down the escalators because it shut down a couple of times because the amount of people that were on
Yeah,
there
the weight capacity,
kind of
which
messed
was
it up.
insane.
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest issues. And like, okay, so when you have, in order to get to the, I mean, we didn't really go into that, but if you wanted to go into the cafe there, you have to go to the second floor. The cafe's on the second floor. Then you have to go up to the third floor, then down, right back down the escalator, back to the second, just to get on the other side of the ropes. And it was very claustrophobic, that whole area over there. So the venue itself isn't bad. I just think it's probably not the best suited for an event this big. And it was the first time at this venue. Honestly, I don't know if there has been another. I don't know all the anime events, but I don't think they have had another anime convention at that location. So I'm hoping that they don't go back there. It's just it was very uncomfortable, and for how big the venue was, the floor itself was actually rather small. But again, overall, it was a great experience. Those are just kind of like the nitpicks.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with that, you can't help but feel, we're just being honest, you can't help but like feel this at least once or twice at the very minimum when you're on the floor bumping shoulder to shoulder. And I had my
Not
backpack
just
and I was
this con,
constantly
right?
getting
Like any con you go to, any major convention you go to. Even when I went to Expo, it was hell. Like
Mhm.
it's just there's so much to do, and then there's so much space you can utilize. But like I said, I kind of wish they could have just utilized that fourth floor or even the third floor. The third floor they had panels and everything, but like they could have spaced everything out a little bit better. Maybe I don't know. I get it when it comes to an artist standpoint and to like a guest standpoint. If you have a lot of shit to carry or a lot of things to bring, going up and down like that, like that's hectic,
Yeah.
But if you have 4 floors, make the best of all 4 floors.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I see what you mean, and I'll be honest. I think that really was the best that they were going to be able to do. That's just how what I think. Because like again, let's say they put the guests on the fourth floor, and then everyone has to go up there, and then it's going to get packed up there because everyone's going up there to see the guests. When in reality, the guests really only took up like just that last back row of it. And then the third floor.
I think if anything, they should have known, or not should have known, but I think when they realized like which certain guests were getting like the crazy lines, maybe isolate that to the fourth floor.
Yeah, I mean they should kind of know who's gonna get the most guests anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen those lines. Like we knew who they were there for most of the time.
Yeah,
and they were busy all weekend, which is insane.
Yeah, and then they're inside the floor. There was a line which you had to be in the back corner. That's where the line was. Then they would send you up front.
In another line.
It was just very. I mean, they did a good job. The volunteers did a good job organizing, and
people working the event. They did a good job at crowd control, which was good. But like I said, though, it's nothing that they could do when it comes to the amount of people being there. It's just going to like walking up and down Artist Alley like that. It was just it was just so narrow.
I mean,
like it was just that's if anything, that's the only takeaway I would like nitpick at this event. Not like not taking away the overall great experiences. That was just the only thing I would, if anything, would complain about, was just that Artist Alley was hectic. And and it's not like I said, it's not the venue, it's not the people working there, it's the people there, the attendees. Like people were like on their phones in the middle of the floor, like move, like like in White Chicks where like he has to go to the bathroom and Marlon's like move, bitch. It's like that's how I felt. Like move, like go. Like don't stand in the middle of the floor.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do with that though? Because I don't know. All I'm gonna say is like I know Bobby's probably gonna listen to this. Thanks for the apple juice.
the apple juice with cinnamon, and then
Yeah, the cinnamon apple juice that
and then
was
with the
packaged in a water bottle. Yeah.
yeah the
Very appreciative. If we didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have.
that
I would
loosened
have
me
cared
up.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that loosened me up. So I wasn't as bad, but I felt kind of bad though. I felt kind of self conscious a little bit because like I thought my breath kind of stank, but
Dude, like, okay, you're worried about your breath when there's a lot of people who like don't know what shampoo or shower is for that weekend. So
I
you're
know
good,
it just,
man.
but like, dude, I was sweating like hell that weekend too, man. I felt so like embarrassed when like I would take pictures of people and like they put your hand on your shirt and I'm just like even I got disgusted. I'm like, "Ugh,"
It's,
like don't touch me,
it's gonna like peel off.
like damp, like ooh, it's just like I saw like when we took the picture with Catherine, she was at the Nishi Fest booth, and
Right, yeah.
she was it on Saturday when she was dressed as Raiden.
Mhm.
Like she put her hand on my shoulder. I was like, I'm sweaty, like I don't want people touching me when I'm like nasty, like I get
Right,
disgusted
yeah.
of myself like that, and so that's why like I don't ever like put my arm around people no more. I just like keep my arms crossed and kind of stay like good like 6 inches away
You
from
have your poses. If you go look at all of his poses, he has the same. Me too. We all have like the same poses.
I think I'll lean in a little bit and smile, but then I'm not touching. I'm not making contact with people. Like I
You've been
used
to
to,
enough
but
cons.
now I don't. It's just like you just got to respect people's boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess since we're talking about guests already, I mean we could talk about just who we met. I do want to start off with though, like I mentioned before, I got to interview Steph Von Schweetz. She's a cosplayer. Like that again. That interview will drop either before or after this episode. I got about a good almost 20 minutes with her. Um, so it was really cool just to just talk to her like one on one like that, and to hear her experience, and then hopefully maybe in the future I'm gonna reach out to her too again and try to get her on the podcast and just geek out about like everything pretty much. But yeah, shout out to Steph for being on the not podcast, but for giving me time to do the interview. Um, and the only interview. I don't know if anyone else who did press got like interviews with the voice actors or whatnot. I was really hoping for it to happen for Spoiler Force. Unfortunately, it did not happen. The majority of the guests that was on my wish list were not doing any interviews, so that kind of sucked. But I was like, it's whatever. You just go there and be positive and just try to have fun. But yeah, thank you to Steph for giving me that interview. Um, but yeah, me and Bobby got to meet her when she did the Haku cosplay, which I think that was probably her best one that weekend. How it looked like her mask. I think the mask that she made that cosplay stand out the most. Like it because it goes with the actual whole outfit, right? Not just the whole, like she didn't cover her whole face, but she did like the bottom half, which I thought that was really cool. You got to meet her, right? Did you meet her on Saturday, Michael, or on Friday at all?
I think we met her both days. I think so. Yeah, yeah. Because I didn't get to meet her Friday because I came late, and you'd already had your interview with her, and then I met her for the first time on Saturday. I forgot what cosplay she was in. But that
I
I
think it
took.
was a One Piece one.
I think
I think
so.
Saturday was One Piece, and then Friday was on. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what the third cosplay was. She just had like black and purple on or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. But no, that was the first time I saw her merch, like her
Wait,
her
speaking of her, the plants, the
the
executor.
executor. That's those. Yeah, those little plants are so cool. And then she also had those plant stickers. It's like a little acrylic what are they called, stakes that you put in the plant. But she actually made all the she inlaid in the acrylic some actual, the plants and flowers that she's growing. So they actually looked really cool. I don't have a green thumb, and I wouldn't be caught dead growing any kind of like plants or flowers. If anything, I'd just do like some herbs. But they looked really cool. I wanted to get some. I just couldn't really justify what I would use it for. But they're really cool, and she seemed really cool too.
Yeah, she was very
So
nice. I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed talking to her, and excuse me, like one thing I do love when I speak with guests or do interviews is engagement. Like that's the one thing that I love the most when I talk to people, and she was definitely a very engaging person to interview with. That's why I said like I can't wait to have her on the podcast because she can definitely do a very good interview. So like again, shout out to Stuff for being able to do that. I mean, did you just want to go down like since we're on cosplay, just talk about the cosplay guests that we met there and then move on to like the voice actors?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like we mentioned before, we mentioned Catherine. She was at the Nishi Fest booth, which was right across Ann Yatko and Adam MacArthur's table, which was really cool too, because like they're like the ones that we wanted to meet was like they're all next to each other
It's
pretty
just
much
all over
in
there.
that
So yeah.
vicinity. So it was just all right there. So we met them right when they were closing on Friday, right when the exhibitor hall closed. So we got like to take a quick picture with her and Jenny Belly. And then I think we did the same thing on Saturday when we left. Right before we left
Yeah.
on Saturday, we met them and took photos with them. And then, yeah, I really liked the Keteran's Shogun Raiden Shogun's cosplay, and then Jenny Belly did a really good job doing the My Dress Up Darling and your cosplay.
Yeah, her Yor one is really good. Yeah. And then on day one, she was what was her? Was it the it's a cosplay exception because she's cosplaying Marin, cosplaying
Oh, the one
she's a
I know
katana.
what you're
Was
talking
it?
about,
Yeah,
like the bat or whatever. I forgot.
no, I think
It's the one with
she was
red hair, right?
she was the maid one, the very first cosplay that Marin did. I believe I could be wrong.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me just double check. I have it on my Instagram. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you follow me on Instagram, you can see all the selfies and pictures I took with
There's a lot of
the
really good cosplays, so go check them out.
let's see here. Oh yeah, so it was Marin's first cosplay, which was that maid one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Annabelle did a great job.
yeah.
And then
Catherine's official was good too.
oh yeah. We talked to her and she was like talking about like how she was walking around the event with the like using one eye, being blinded
with the
by
eye
one eye.
patch, yeah.
Eye patch, yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny of her talking about that. No, and then you met her what? Because I didn't see them on Sunday. I wanted to, but then I left.
Yeah, I just dropped by to say hi. And I bought some. I think you can probably see them. Some of her pictures, and she signed them.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so they were really good. It's really good to see them because we met them first at Nishi Fest a couple months ago. They're really cool. And you got to do the interviews with them. Really great, short, like 1 minute.
Yeah, like
interviews.
not even like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Very simple 1, 2, 3 questions and just like all right, bye, and just left.
Yeah. And then I think they remembered y'all, or they remembered us too, because they mentioned
they?
like,
I don't
Spoiler
know.
Force. Yeah,
I don't think they
maybe
did.
I don't know.
If they did, then I didn't catch that. But I do know that I spoke to Jenny Belly and about her podcast with Stella Chu, and it's called the BLHQ podcast, I believe. I just want to make sure I have that right. Yeah, I follow them on Spotify, so they do like BLHQ podcast. So Stella Chu and Jenny Belly, they do like reviews on the stuff that they're into. Yeah, so when I brought that up, I didn't think she would react that way when I told them that like, hey, I listened to your podcast. I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe you listened to that. I wasn't expecting that reaction, but I get it when people like talk about like your episodes or people talk about listening to your content. Like it is a good feeling, so
yeah.
But definitely for fans who want to check it out, you can find it on Spotify. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. And who else did we meet? We met
Vivid Vision.
Oh yeah. I met her on Saturday. I didn't get to meet her on Friday. Okay, this is funny, right? So on Friday she was dressed as Xiangling from Genshin Impact.
And I missed it.
I don't know how I got that mixed up because I think I was looking at her Instagram stories on Thursday, the day before. So I think I must have got like her look mixed up on Thursday and Friday. So when I saw her at her booth, I didn't know if that was her. Plus, she had the Xiangling wig on, so the hair was short. And so I didn't want to be that person that went up to her and like, "Hey, are you Vivid Vision?" Like I didn't want to do that on Friday. And so I just like walked around and like circled the booth and then like left. I wasn't sure. And then on Saturday I spoke with her and then confirmed it with her. I was like, "Hey, you were just a Xiangling yesterday, right?" She goes, "Yeah, I was working at the booth all day." I'm like, "Oh my god, I feel so fucking stupid." Like that was her. And then yeah, I didn't speak with her too long. I know her table was pretty busy
She was
too because
busy. Yeah.
she was selling merch like stickers, which I got a few, but I don't have them with me right now. But
Yeah, she was like smack dab in the middle of the floor, so it's
yeah,
and it was a corner table, so there was a lot of traffic in that area.
she had like T-shirts, stickers, prints, those little French fry keychains. I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
You
and then
you bought the little food stickers, right?
yeah, I bought an omurice one, and then I bought like the kind of the bigger ones. I forget she had like a deal on them. One that I think this says like pho, takoyaki, sushi, and
Mm-hmm.
Korean barbecue. So yeah, if you follow Vivid Vision, she's a big foodie. So she's always posting food on her Instagram. So I thought that was really cool to incorporate that into her merch too. Yeah, and then we also did you see like so there was cosplay people that we've met at Nishi Fest or at other places that were there on Sunday, that
Mm-hmm.
they weren't guests but they still showed up.
Right.
So
We
like
ran into Ithilrin
yeah.
and Stella Chu.
Yeah,
So
well, you pointed out Stella Chu. I didn't even recognize her in her bayonet costume or cosplay. Like, I didn't even recognize her. And like when we exited, that's when she exited too. And so we were like, screw it, just ask. I was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
are you Stella Chu?" And then she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even recognize you. The wigs makes you look so different." So, yeah, we got pictures with her. And then yeah, running to Ithilrin. What's funny is like when I saw Ithilrin there, um, I literally saw her Instagram story. Like she was on her way there. And then right when I got done watching her story, she was like around the corner from the table that we were at. Like I think we were walking past one of those like those toy vendors and she
Mhm.
was at the other side of that table. And so like it was just like coincidence like, "Oh my god, like that's a thriller right there," so
I'm glad you did and you saw the story, because again, when we met her at Inishi Fest, she was Harley Quinn, and she had makeup all over. So I wouldn't have known that was her.
yeah, and
So
being in that Jester cosplay, I think she wore boots or heels, so she was a little bit taller.
mhm.
And so like I only recognized her because of what she had on her Instagram story. Had she not post that, I don't even think I would have recognized her. And so like she
Yeah,
was really nice though. Like she was
yeah,
very
she's
nice. We
real
took a
cool.
quick selfie with her and then just walked away after that. There's tons of cosplayers that we took photos of. There was a lot of Anya's that weekend, a lot of yours. Pretty much Spy Family was a big one. Demon Slayer, Genshin Impact, a bunch of Genshin players were
Genshin,
there. There was the Ruin Hunter guy, the guy that had
the Ruin
stilts.
Guard. Yeah,
Yeah, the Ruin Guard. Yeah, he was a big one. A lot of
it
fans.
was big, all
Like
right.
yeah, no, yeah, like literally and figuratively, but even a lot of the voice actors took pictures of and with the Ruin Guard. So I thought that was pretty cool. Uh, there's always like one or two Batmans running around the anime conventions. So whoever they were, their stuff was pretty cool. Like one guy had the Batman costume down. Like it looked more like the Arkham game uh
Mhm.
outfit than like the movie ones. And then was there any that stood out to you that weekend?
Let me see. There are a few Dragon Maid ones. Let me see.
Yeah, I think that was mostly Friday. I didn't see any, like there was only like one or two Torus that I saw.
Yeah, no, I mean there were a lot of really really good ones.
And then there was one
A lot of
Kana.
Demon Slayer ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda. Man, it's all a blur because it's so much happened. It was so busy. Uh, I missed the Barbara one in her some
Oh
her
yeah,
her
that was on a
skin.
Sunday. Yeah,
That was
the summer.
when y'all
Yeah,
left.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the summer skin. Like right when you went back inside, that's when I saw her. Like she was walking out, and so me and Bobby were walking towards the parking garage. I was like, "Wait, Bobby, wait! I'm gonna take a quick picture of that." I think she was the last person I took a photo of, and
Mhm.
so like yeah, hers was the one that stood out because a lot of the Genshin cosplayers were wearing like what you have in game, like the regular skins. So
Right, right.
I mean, of course, there's some that were pretty creative, like the maid ones or like the casual Genshin. But this cosplayer, I don't know who she is, but she had the summer skin for Barbara, which was really good.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, she's Barbara's been like my day one healer. I know she's
yeah.
not meta, and like I'll probably get put on a stake for this, but but no, and that's the skin I use, so I really like that cosplay. But there were a lot of Chainsaw Man ones too.
Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man and the Violet Evergarden. There was a lot of them,
Yeah,
Violet
yeah.
Evergarden and Sabers, which I thought that was
Sabers.
funny. Yeah, so like for fans who don't know, there's like a meme that's on the internet like where Violet Evergarden like screams at the people like I'm not Saber, like so it's just funny because they both look alike. And then did you see any jeans at all from Genshin? I thought
I think
I
I
saw
saw a
like one or
few.
two. Like I didn't see a lot of them.
I just know that I recently discovered there's a meme where it's like the three Spider-Men pointing at each other, but
Yeah.
instead it's Jean, Violet Evergarden, and Saber all pointing at each other.
Oh man, that's good. Yeah, and I'm surprised people didn't do the Anya one because Anya's been a big meme on like on the internet, like, crossing the multiverse like Zoro.
Oh
So like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of manga panels with Anya being inserted in
Like
these panels.
they insert her into like a berserk panel.
Yeah, yeah. So like there was one meme that I saw where it was Anya, Zoro, Eren, and Komi all together, and they're like, all right, where are we gonna go next?
Uh-huh.
If you want to start your own podcast like Spoiler Force, then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users like me to begin their podcasting journey. With easy to use tools, you can effectively get your podcast into different platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view your stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and will also support Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want a simpler way to record both video and audio for your podcast, then sign up with StreamYard. StreamYard is the perfect program to create podcasts, host live streams, and even do video calls. There are many tools that can help you create and design your own personal studio. You can screen share, read live comments, and stream to different destinations like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also download your video and audio once you're done with your recording session. Follow the link below, and once you sign up with the basic or pro plan, you'll earn a $10 credit to use for StreamYard. Happy podcasting. But yeah, man, let's just go right to the voice actors. I guess speaking of Anya, dude, like Megan Shipman, the voice of Anya, the English voice, she was there. I'm
You
so
told me
mad.
this,
I'm
and yeah.
so mad that I didn't get to like I didn't see or meet her because I've been watching Spy Family sub, but then like I love meeting the English dub actors as well, just to see and hear where their experiences when it
Mhm.
comes to dubbing over these animes. But the only reason I knew was because Jenny Belly posted it on Twitter, and so I retweeted it. But I'm so salty that I didn't get to see her. Yeah, and then yeah, so the first voice actor we met that weekend, because we met the majority of them on Friday, because we knew
Right,
Saturday
yeah.
was gonna be like hell. So
And
Adam
he
MacArthur,
worked,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you didn't get to
I
meet Adam
wasn't there,
MacArthur.
but
Yeah,
you and Bobby met him, yeah, and you got the baseball cards, which
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought were really cool.
yeah. So I met Adam MacArthur finally in person. He he was really nice. We just talked about like what we've been doing since we did the podcast together, or last year, a little over a year ago, like, and we just talked about that. Talked about like just what he's been doing because he's been so busy. He's trying to do like his obviously his acting gig, but he's still training in martial arts and doing all like the social media stuff too. So we were just talking about that. And but yeah, we just kind of caught up with him, and then after I spoke with him, I met Ann Yatko finally, And that was she. Okay, so shout out to Anne. If you listen to this episode, shout out to Anne because she was the pretty much if it not just for Fauna, but Anne was the reason why I wanted to go to A-KON. Like, had it been like just anyone else at this con, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to go here because Ann Yatko, not only was she one of my favorite guests on my show, but she's also like a big inspiration to me when it comes to just seeing an Asian person in entertainment. And we talked. That was a topic we touched on in the podcast we did together, and that really like sparked like my reason to still pursue this podcasting gig. And so Anne has been very helpful. She responds back and forth at times. We just kind of like say hi here and there, but meeting her finally in person instead of just like online or on Twitch, it really like just made that weekend so much better. That's why like I went out of my way all 3 days to at least say hi to her once. Not
She
just
is such like a positive energy too. Like even just talking with her, like she's kind of like a breath of fresh air. Just because like she's very enthusiastic and she just has that energy. And I know that like for your podcast she was like very encouraging, and from listening to that podcast too, it was very enlightening. Just to get her some of her you can tell that she pours her heart into the craft, because she's you see, at least it feels like you see her heart and how she carries herself. So I think that was very inspiring. So and meeting her too, like she knew who you were, but she didn't know who me and Bobby were, but she was still really nice and really cool to us. So
like I had my mask on, right? I
Mhm.
didn't even think she'd recognize me. And she's like, "Oh my god, Ricky!" I'm like, holy, like the inner geek in me, like if it wasn't for me like trying to stay professional, like I would have been screaming and like, "Oh my god!" Like but she gave me a hug, and like she even like hooked me up, with an autograph, and like I felt bad, so like I was like, and I have to support you. Like I'm not just doing this because I want to. I have to, because this is why you're here, and this is why I'm here. So like I got like two things, or yeah, two things signed by her, or three things actually. Yeah, three things. I got the baseball card signed by her. I got a postcard of Nobara signed by her, which she drew herself. And then I got the Raiden Shogun print signed by her, and that one's done by Valerie Pierce, who's also been on the podcast as well. But yeah, of course I had to bring up the fact that when she was on my podcast or on Spoiler Force, that she couldn't mention that she was gonna get the role for Raiden, and I had to bring that up to her. I was like, how hurt I was when like listening to, like, when I go back and listen to the episode, I remember telling her like I hope you get a role in Genshin, not just as like a side character. I hope you get the main character. Maybe you can be Nobara in Genshin. Like we were joking about that, right? And then not even a month or so after she got booked, or she confirmed her role as Raiden Shogun, as an Archon of all characters. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like it was just really cool to finally like bring that up and laugh about that with her.
more of the story, she has like, and you have a really good poker face.
Yeah, no, she was good. Yeah. I was, oh man, to this day I'm just like, why couldn't we just like get a hint? But it's okay. NDAs, gotta respect that.
Yeah.
And no, and then like across from her was Erica Harlacher. She had a corner table. For those of you who don't know who she is, I think she's probably one of the best cosplayers, or not cosplayers, voice actors in the game right now too. She has a lot of like roles, from Shinobu, from Demon Slayer, Violet Evergarden, Sakura from I Want to Eat Your Pancreas,
Venti, right?
Venti from
Yeah.
from Genshin Impact, a bunch of good ones. But when I met her, I had to talk to her about I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, because that movie still hits me right here. That freaking ending, man. I had to talk to her about that. And then across from her was Robbie Damon, who played the main protagonist in that show too. I met Robbie at Kamea-Con already, but then since I had those baseball cards, I was like, screw it. I gotta get the Fushiguro card signed, and he signed it. And I talked to him about his role, and I Want to Eat Your Pancreas too. But yeah, I at least I got to talk to him a little bit about that, like just to tell, because I didn't get to tell Robbie that at Kamea-Con about I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I only talked to him about playing Fushiguro and My Hero and like some other role. Um, but yeah, and dude, Robbie Damon's dude, that guy is a pro, man.
Well, yeah.
Like just not just his resume, but how he carries himself. And like we'll touch up on the panel, but man, like that guy, he knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
And then Mark Whitten, we met Mark Whitten, whose table is right next to Erica Harlacher, which is probably my second favorite moment of the entire experience, because when we met Mark, he was just signing things, and not a lot of there was, but when we went, there wasn't folks waiting, so
Right, yeah.
we got to go there a little bit after this guy got his, like, a bunch of his stuff signed, and then
That was on day 2
was
that
that day 2?
all that
Okay,
happened, because we were waiting in line for Bobby to get his his
his
Rengoku figure
Rengoku,
signed.
his
Yeah.
figure signed. Oh yeah, so on Friday, did we just walk up to him on
Yeah,
Friday?
we just walked up to him, and then just you talked to him, and he remembered that he was on the
Yeah,
podcast.
he recognized
So
me from the podcast, and then yeah, we just talked about Demon Slayer, about season 2, and then like what was really cool about Mark, though, when we spoke with him, like we were standing there with him for like a good almost 15 almost 20 minutes, just
right,
geeking
yeah.
out about Demon Slayer and his other roles and stuff, and then like he kind of gave us his thoughts on, like, on season 2, like what his thoughts on on Rengoku's slight, his minimal
Appearance.
scenes
Yeah.
in Demon Slayer, and then like I think what really kind of like got me in the feels was when he was talking about how Rengoku's dad was like, he's like, I really wish we got to see more of him, and
Right,
so
yeah.
when he talked about Rengoku's death affecting Rengoku's dad, I'm like, oh my god, like, holy
Yeah,
shit,
and we were, 'cause I was talking to him. I mentioned that, like,
yeah,
like how, because the dichotomy of uh Rengoku's dad, and how he was like when he saved those people that Rengoku would save later on, much later on, how they looked the same, how they acted the same, and then
yeah,
just the dichotomy of that versus how he was near the end of Rengoku's life. He was just like angry and grumpy and just like, or whatnot. And then and then I was mentioning that, like, I thought I was done crying for Rengoku, and then season 2 hit, as I think episode 2 or 1 or 2, when like it, his dad reveals that he's taking his death like really, really, really hard.
yeah,
After, like, because he's driving like Tanjiro out and everything like that, and just
yeah,
being like and this, pardon my French, but he's being an ass. But then you see now why is that way, because he's hurting internally, and I really like how they just revealed that. And then Mark would mention too, like, that's what he was feeling when he was, when they brought him back on to go through all that. And it was just a really, really good conversation to get, like, um Mark's perspective on all that, because he reprised his role as Rengoku, and he um gave him so much character, for the dub.
like,
So
even with Rengoku having like such limited time on the show, like Mark did like the best he could. Like he went all out just to give like the best of his acting skills to this character that's barely there for a whole season,
mhm.
So but yeah, man, shout out to Mark for even like just talking to us and geeking out with us about Demon Slayer of all things, because I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of folks talked to him about that weekend too. And besides like being Kazuha from Genshin, like it just shows, man, like you don't have to have a big role to have that kind of impact, man. Like we literally watched the end of Demon Slayer last night, watching the fight with him in a Kaza, man. Like, dude, that I still can't get over like how great they wrote Rengoku and Demon Slayer. Like the dude's a freaking like overall top. He's in my top 10 of like all time anime characters.
Yeah, yeah. And I mentioned too that, like, it was a pretty marketable decision of them to kill off Rengoku, because like his merch has just been like killing the market right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also enlightened me, gave me some information on how he got his prints. So I Mark, if you're listening, I really do appreciate the perspective that you gave, and some of the tips, and how you would find art. So these are probably places where I want to put my art if I wanted to get them, spotted. So
Yeah, yeah. I
Great
thought that
great
was really
information
good.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good insight that he shared with us. Um,
And he wasn't nonchalant about it. He would actually go into detail and
yeah.
step
Oh,
by
he was
step
very
how he
nice
did
about it. Like
everything.
he
So yeah.
wasn't like holding it back, or he didn't like generalize anything. He actually went into like um he explained it very well. Like
Yeah.
to talk about like how artists are, how they pick artists and stuff like that. So and just a slight tangent here. I forgot to mention when we were talking about Prince. Just shout out to Kisai here. This is who I bought my Kobayashi and excuse me Konosuba Prince from. She had a Isekai Quartet one that was sold out. I'm so mad. I offered to buy the one on display, but there was a sticker on it, so I couldn't get it. And then shout out to uh Terry Brush. Also bought Kobayashi prints and Konosuba prints and a Spy Family print from her. She also does like Twitch and stuff too, so which was really cool. There was a bunch of artists that we passed out cards to and spoke with. I have a Konosuba set over there. I forgot. Michael, you bought something from him, right? The guy that sold.
I did not.
I forgot his. I feel bad. I follow him on Instagram. Let me pull it up. I bought his Konosuba set because it was only $40 for all four. I want to shout him out because we got to meet him on Sunday and just like talk about his art and all that stuff. He was giving you pretty good tips too.
Yeah, he was. I was telling him how like I've seen his art circling, making the rounds on Instagram, and then I was watching another artist their stream on Twitch, and then they rated him, and then he was working on some persona art, but then I saw that like, hey, that's the Genshin the summer, like the beach themed Genshin.
Oh, I found him. Niku underscore senpai.
Yeah.
Niku senpai. So shout out to him. His stuff was really cool though. Like I liked his style.
Yeah.
And then like you said, his Genshin Beach one was really good.
Yeah, and then I was talking with him like, so he has this one of Kujo-sa, and half of her face is shaded, the other half isn't, but she's squinting in the one where the hard light is coming. I'm like, your attention to detail is like amazing. And then he had he was telling me, it kind of went over my head a little because I was just like, it's I didn't realize I bit off more than I can chew. But he was talking about the foiling on his prints. So he was explaining
The
to me
Persona ones?
going into real detail with that, like more detail than I could handle. But yeah, no, he was very, very helpful with the information on that. So yeah, thanks for enlightening a aspiring artist.
Oh, hey, I wanted to shout out that one other artist too that you got the Ranking of Kings one from.
Oh,
Do you
that
have
was
his
yeah, it's
we got to speak to him and his sister. He had 2 tables at AKon.
yeah. Oh man, that his art, I hated it because like it was near the end and I'd already spent way too much, but I wanted to get more, but I ended up only getting the Ranking of Kings one. His name was Kehasuk, Kehasuk.
Is that on Instagram?
Yeah, he's on Instagram.
K-E or K-A?
Kehasuk, I think. Let me double check.
Okay, I found him. I'm literally
Yeah.
following him right now on Instagram. So I'm literally following him right now.
And I was just like, there weren't a lot of Ranking of Kings art there. There were a few, and they were all good. But his, like I'm looking at it right now, the composition of his, it tells the whole. I mean, if you've seen the series, it tells the whole story within that picture. The way it's kind of like pop art, but he didn't leave anything out from this one poster, and it's amazing. So I'm very, that was probably one of my favorite pieces that I bought of my many 20 some odd prints that I bought.
That's why I stay away from Artist Alley, man. Like I mentioned it before on the show, man. Like it's just I love Artist Alley so much that I have to stay away from it.
This was my first time like actually being able to have the means and being able to comfortably, even though it's a little uncomfortable, spend this much. So Yeah. No, his other art too, because he had a Samurai Champloo one that I wanted, and
Oh
uh
yeah, his Tokyo
the Mob
Revengers.
Psycho,
Oh yeah, Mob
um,
Psycho was good.
which I didn't get because I haven't seen it yet, and um, I just feel weird. To me, it's my own rule. Um, I hate that I live by that, but no, his art, it's kind of like a pop art style, but still retaining like his own stylization. Very tasteful. Go check him out.
Uh, and a lot, I'll try to have most of these links up on the show notes or description. If I don't, you just have to listen and try to find them. Most of them, most likely, you'll find them on Instagram or on Twitter. But back to the voice actors. But we left off on meeting with Mark.
Mhm, mhm.
And then we met. That was on Saturday. Like we met Mark twice, right? So on Saturday we also met Lucian, Lucian or Lucian Dodge.
Right, right.
I heard folks call him Lucian, and I heard folks calling him Lucian. So I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but Lucian is the voice for Akaza and from Demon Slayer and Mahito from Jujutsu Kaisen. And we met him after the panel, which I think we should talk about the panel first, because like we met him after the panel. He got there a little bit later, but what was really cool about that panel was we got second row, which was, thank God we went early.
Mhm.
We got second row. Matthew David Rudd was the surprising guest there. He was only there with his kid to just walk around and support, and then like Adam McArthur apparently pulled him up on the
Yeah,
panel.
I remember because we sat down. I went to the restroom and got back, and I looked at the stage like that's not Lucian Dodge. And then he told me who he was. I'm like, what?
Dude, when you were in the restroom, Bobby was like, "Who is that?" Rick, it's like, "Oh my god, that's Panda from Jujutsu Kaisen." Like I was geeking out because I geeked out. I'm not like the biggest Panda fan, but I geeked out because of the movie. The movie really like brought up those other characters like Maki, Inumaki, or Toge and Panda. Like the movie really helped highlight them. So like after watching the movie and then seeing Matthew David Rudd and Xander Mobus in person, like it was just really cool to see that they were there. um
Yeah,
and he was really nice too. Like he was there. I got a picture with him after the panel, which he didn't hesitate. But the panel overall, that's probably one of the best panels I've been to
that was
in
a
a long
really
time.
really great panel. It was a lot. It was very engaging, very entertaining, and Robbie Damon pretty much just like made sure the crowd was engaged even before the panel started. He was like, now's like I get to ask you questions. So raise your hands, and I'm gonna ask you a question. So he was the life of that panel. Um, and then some of the questions were really good, and then your
Oh, my question to
your
them.
question.
Oh yeah. So for the fans and followers who are watching or listening to this, so I go up in line, and while because like they let us do fan questions in there, so I didn't want to like push through people, but if I could I would have. But I got there. I'm like fourth or fifth in line, and I'm like praying to God, like, please don't take my question, please don't take my question, because like that's the thing I hate about waiting in line. Because what if someone asks your question and then you have to
Now
improvise
you're at
one?
the microphone like,
Yeah.
wait,
But
thinking of a
people were
question.
asking them, yeah, people were asking them like, if you had their powers, what would you pick? Or, what's your thoughts on certain, like your favorite least or your favorite parts of the character, or what made you like your character, like what part made you like your character. So it was all about the characters. And so when it got to me, I was like, this isn't towards Matthew David Rudd or Xander, because you were both in the movie, but to Robbie, to Anne, to Lucian, to Adam, what was your thoughts on not being in the movie? Because their characters, even though they are some of the main characters in the show, their characters were not in the movie. And so that's when like Adam McArthur just went on this huge like rant
you you
about
you
like
you just opened the floodgates on that. So
I was not expecting his answer to be like that, but it was just so funny hearing it from him of all people. I would have never thought that I'd hear that, and he made really good points though. But
no, it was very very good points. He didn't hold back on
Mhm.
his choice words, and because
I
he
do agree with him too, though. Like I
yeah
wish that they
no.
would have shown them at the end, like how
Mhm.
where Gojo goes up to Utah at the end. like Adam, like I agree with Adam. Like I wish they had shown Yuji or Nobara or Megumi, like not
At least a
meeting
cameo.
Yuta or like in the back, like you see
Right.
them wandering around the city while Gojo's talking to Yuta. So I wish that was something, but then it was just funny hearing Adam like go about his rant and then talk about like
His hot
my
take about the
yeah,
movies. Yeah.
and like his jab at My Hero because Robbie was in the My Hero movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that was really funny too. It's like, but these
Oh
movies, they're
man.
not good because they're not canon, like they're just another adventure. I'm paraphrasing here, but like he was
I'm
taking he took a jab at My Hero.
I am hoping someone recorded that and put that on YouTube. I need to go look for it because it was. He even mentioned like, "Oh, great! Some people are gonna take this clip out of context now."
Yeah, I think I know who that the moderator. She was live on Instagram, so
Mhm.
I don't know if it's still on there, but she did go live. Um, I kind of wish that the folks asked Lucian more questions about like Mahito or like something like that, but
Right.
he got there a little
Because
bit
he showed
late.
up in the middle of
Yeah,
I guess probably after the halfway mark of the panel.
like right before the
From
questions. He was
right.
there right before the fan questions were.
No, actually, he got
Well, no,
there
after,
after a few
yeah, right,
because Robbie Dane was like, "All right, lightning round. Here's
yeah,
all the
yeah.
questions that's been asked," and asked Lucian them. Yeah, from what I heard, he had some flight um difficulties getting to Dallas for that. So
Yeah, nothing we can do there, but it was great to meet Lucian though at his table. Um, I'm not gonna explain how we got to meet him at his table. We got lucky when we met him at his table.
we were in line, right? Right.
Yeah, we got lucky. We got there early, and then got to meet him in line because his line was long too. And like, this is where like again with the lines, it got a little bit confusing because we didn't know if people were in line for Erica Vale or for Xander or for Robbie and
I think we went back and
Ray
we asked him,
Chase.
is this a line for Lucian? I think they said no, something like that.
Well,
Someone said no.
there was one line that we thought it was for Lucian, and it wasn't because it was for Erica Mendez.
Right.
Erica Mendez had a big line too, and so we went to the next line over, and the girl in front of us was like, "Yeah, this is for Lucian." So we stayed in line, which we got lucky though because like I think after that it was his line got packed, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just I forgot to mention that Ray Chase was there. Ray Chase, Max Middleman, they were there, and their lines were like constantly busy too. Xander had I thought Xander was gonna leave. Like while we were waiting for Lucian's line, Xander got up and left. I was like, oh my god, it's like Xander, you're not leaving yet, or he goes, no, I just came back to my table. Like he was really like really like not smart about it, but he was just really like clever about it. Like he like I was like, don't leave yet. Like I want to meet you after I meet Lucian. He goes, okay. Oh, I'll be here. So we got to meet him and take a photo with him too, and we talked about like him playing Inumaki and playing Toto of all characters.
And my favorite was finding out that he does the voice for Smash Brothers, the announcer voice.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Like I was watching Jujutsu Kaisen in English dub last night, and like I hear more of his speaking voice from Toto. So like I thought that was like when I think about it now, like after talking to him, he has a very natural like low
Yeah.
voice, and so like
He doesn't sound like he looks like he sounds.
Yeah, and
Right? Yeah.
even during the panel, like he was talking about like how they were talking about Kaji Tang being Gojo, and he did his impression of Gojo. I was like, I thought like even though it was for comedic relief, I was like, dude, I think you could have been a good Gojo. Like, but he was giving Kaji like the his praises to Kaji. Like, no, he's like Kaji's good too, man. Like, so that's the only one I need to meet now to get my card signed.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that it's from the Formation B scene where Gojo's like telling Megumi like we got violin lessons and all that stuff. I already know what I already know what I want Kaji Tang to sign on that card. But that's for another time. But yeah, we got to meet Xander, get a picture with him. Oh no, I forgot to bring up this about Lucian too. When we spoke with Lucian, we got to talk to him about Akaza and Mahito.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was very engaging too. I hope I can get him on the podcast. But like I want to have Lucian on the podcast because I already had Mark on. I want his perspective since he played the villain in Demon Slayer, man. Like I want to hear his thoughts. And then we got to hear a little bit of it when he talked about like, who would he rather be between Mahito or Akaza. And I thought I liked his response that he picked Mahito because Mahito has like a lot more grunge to him. Like he's got all these more animalistic sounds to him versus Akaza is just very straightforward. But I thought meeting Lucian was really fun too. So but yeah, he was nice. And then we met Laura Straw. I think that's their last name, Laura, and Koi Dao. And Koi plays Albedo from Genshin, and then his sprint with the Elsa Albedo.
Albedo is Elsa.
That was a funny one. That one stood out to me. I wish I could have bought that. I thought that was pretty funny, but I bought a Laura Straw print, the Shinyan one. I got an autograph from her, so that was it was really cool to just talk to her and Koi at their table, because they were at Bryce Pappenbrook's table after he left. And after you remember Friday, his line was long too on Friday. It wrapped at the end towards the exit, so Bryce's line was long too. But we didn't meet him. I think is that pretty much it for voice actors that we met. Besides meeting Anne on Sunday again before we left.
We met. We went and we met Matthew David Rudd and Robbie Damon too.
Yeah. We met Robbie briefly though. I only got the card
very
signed.
briefly.
And then but Matthew David Rudd had a table on Sunday. We got to talk with him, and like he had like the pandas with the numbers on it. Bobby bought one. And then like someone bought 69. Like that was the first one he sold.
So Bobby wanted 100, and the person in front of them got 100. He's like, damn, he got 99. And I was like, you don't want 69? And then he's like, oh, that was the first to go. I'm like, shocker. Like,
that was pretty funny. Like, the thing too about with Matthew David Rudd is that not only is he a voice actor, he's also a crafter. So like, he made those pandas, and then
he did.
Yeah, he made those.
I didn't know
that.
Then
if you go back to the Ann Yatko episode on Spoiler Force, he made Anne the hammer and nails that Nobara has. He made that for her.
Right, yeah, that was on. She talked about that on your podcast. Speaking of which, Anne had that the Momo hammer. I think that was. I should have.
Oh, you should have copped one, man. You should have bought one, dude.
And it actually sounded like it too.
Yeah, it had the squeak, and it had Momo's a drawing of
Momo with
face on it.
The eyes crossed out.
Yeah, so. You should have copped one. If I had more money, I would have bought one of the Itadori jerseys.
Those are pretty sick.
I didn't have enough money on me to buy one, but if I did, I would have bought one. Let's see. We went to the panels. We already talked about the panel. We went to with the LARP. Remember the LARPing?
LARPing, yep.
Did you see that? Like when that was like
they were going at it
before the panel, for the JJK panel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, we had nothing else to do. We were just like, "There's our entertainment right there." Just
we were betting
red versus blue. Just
Meanwhile, we were betting like who would win, and I was like, "Look at like Bobby, your side has Inosuke, man. Like you guys are about to win." It was just funny seeing that in person.
Yeah.
And what else did we do? I'm trying to think of before we wrap things up here. We went to the gaming room for a little bit.
Gaming room, yep.
And then we went to the Digimon panel with Belky and Anna. We went there for
we were just tired. We were really tired at that time.
By the end of that time, you know why though? I was dozing off because I was by the wall, right? I was putting my head against the wall.
Yeah, you were against the wall. I'm like,
and then we were under the AC. We were under the AC, and I was like just so comfortable. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm about to knock out, dude. Let's go.
No, you did knock out. I had to wake you up and say, "Hey, we're leaving." So
that panel was okay. I don't know who was in charge of that.
They actually go into a lot of great details and points. So if you're a big Digimon follower and fan, they pretty much talk about how they've like retconned it like so many times.
Yeah.
And they finally gave it a good ending, and they're like, nope, let's retcon it again. And then it's funny, they talked about the where they censored was it Matt who was hitchhiking?
Oh yeah, and the lady tried to pick him up.
So apparently in the anime they missed that part. They just, and Ty's looking at him. He's like, "See, it wasn't that hard." But Matt's just like, Matt's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just
Blushing.
blushing. And then they show the Japanese version, and a girl pulls up in a Corvette, and it's like some MILF, and she's like, it's like I forgot what she says.
But she's like
But
trying to
yeah,
entice Matt to get in the
yeah,
car with him, and so that was So the American version, the English version, they cut that
they
part out.
cut that out.
But
Yeah,
like it was just funny because like they when they're doing like the back and forth camera angles, like it's
Mhm.
just to Ty, then to Matt, then to the kids, and then back to Matt, and then back to Ty,
Yeah,
then back to Matt. So like they had to fill up that time frame that they cut out, and
Mhm.
so like it was, and there's no context to why
Which is
he's blushing.
awkward cuts. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
was pretty
but
funny.
they have I could tell they had a lot of information and did a lot of research for that. Or maybe they just followed it for since the inception of it, and how pretty much it was all Digimon is pretty much created to promote their
The toys.
Tamagotchi products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I didn't even know that they did the watch. Like, I didn't even know that's an actual thing.
the Fitbit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
like it's a Digimon thing for your watch. I did
Mhm.
not know that. That is freaking crazy for you
Yep.
Digimon fanatics. What else? Sunday. That was mostly Saturday because Saturday
That
is
was
what we did the
Saturday.
most, and then Sunday we after meeting was Sunday we left. Me and Bobby left after we met Stella Chu. Yeah, and then I pretty much
We
left. So what
Yeah.
did you do after I left though? Like after you got the signatures from Mcarthur, and was that it? Or did
We
you
kind of walked around for a bit. We met up with Brandon, which was
JJ's brother?
JJ's brother.
Yeah.
And Brandon bought a $200 banner from Wallop's booth. And this was like, it could fit on my entire wall. This thing was massive, and he really wanted it. This is a
That
Dark
was
Souls one.
the Dark Souls one.
Yeah, the one front and center at the very top.
Yeah.
And because we went there because he wanted to see all the vendors that I was telling him that. Funny thing is because Wallop was the first vendor that I bought from there, and it just kind of like it opened up, you know, that it
Pandora's
broke down
box
any
of
walls
money.
of like defense I had against, like, you know, trying not to spend money. Because I've been seeing Wallop's art and following them for quite a while. But yeah, so we went back there. I was showing me around. He's like, "Whoa, that's a really good Dark Souls banner." And I stepped away to deal with the shirt. And when I came back, he's like, "I'm gonna buy that banner." I was like, "Is it for sale?" And then the person running the booth said that it's Sunday special because she didn't want to pack it up because I think it's massive. So we did that. We walked around. He went to the cafe to get a snack. And let me see, what else did we do? Yeah, that was pretty much it. I wasn't there for much longer after you left, and then met back up at the Nishi Fest booth, and got the
They got the
Catherine photos. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I talked with her for a little bit. So she's really nice. So
Yeah.
and she
so-
was Ruby that day on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to see that. I
Yeah,
didn't get. I've seen Jenny Belly's modern cosplay already because she did that for Nishi Fest. But I
Right,
didn't
yeah.
see Catherine's Ruby cosplay. I didn't see that.
Mhm.
But
So yeah,
yeah,
that was it. And then
that's it. And
we
that
left,
that
came
wraps
back.
up Sunday. But yeah, man. I don't want to leave things on a bad note, but I do want to mention this too. It did kind of suck not seeing the actual artists at certain booths.
Right.
I understand, like with with COVID going around, and speaking of COVID as well, if you have not gotten tested yet from this past weekend at AKon, please do. I got tested negative, so I'm in the clear. But even if you feel like you're not sick or don't have symptoms, just do it because people at AKon, on their Instagram stories, some people already got COVID. So just to be on the safe side, always mask up, bring hand sanitizer, wash your hands at any big convention, not just
And
at
yeah,
AKon, but
especially
any
with
big
these
conventions.
other conventions coming up around the states.
Yeah, and
You know, be
it's not even
careful.
AKon that got this. There was other conventions already before this that people are saying that they got COVID.
Yeah,
So
that's why Willop wasn't there. I think Willop actually got COVID. So he or she couldn't be there. But yeah, and there was no such thing as social distancing at this event. You're constantly in contact with somebody
yeah,
walking through there. But on that note, it was a little bit humorous because we would kind of like I would go up to a booth and be like, "Oh, I love your art and how you did all this and that," and asking questions like because I'm inquiring as an artist, but they're like, "Oh no, I'm not the artist." I'm like, "Okay, I feel pretty uneducated right now."
no,
So
and I do want to bring this up too. Like you mentioned that Jimbo Box or James Gill, he had a booth there.
yeah,
But he wasn't there though, which thank
He
God he wasn't
wasn't.
there. Thank God he wasn't there because if I had seen him there, I would have spent even way more money. I feel like an asshole because I didn't recognize the art. If I cannot say I'm a fan of his by and not see the art. You know, I feel bad, but
Yeah.
in a good way, in a good way, I feel I'm glad he wasn't there because if I saw him there, I would have recognized him, and I would have probably bought a crap ton of prints that I wouldn't even know where to put on my wall.
He had a really, and that's one of the reasons why I went back looking for that booth because there was a Spy Family one that he did. It was really good. So that, and then I walked up there, and then I saw the Jinx print, and I'm like, "Holy crap, is this Jimbo Box?" And then she confirmed, like, "Wow, I have spent way too much already, and I can't spend anything else." So I unfortunately didn't buy anything.
Yeah, but shout out to James Gill or Jimbo Box. If you ever watch this, or if anyone who knows him watches this, please send him my way so I can have him on the podcast. I'd love to talk to him because his Street Fighter art was probably my favorite thing he's done. Other than that, though, I mean, he's done a lot of other great artwork, but his Street Fighter stuff for me is iconic. But I guess before we do wrap things up here, Michael, I do want to say, you know, thank you to AKon and to the press team, and thank you to you and Bobby for sticking out with me. You know, as hectic, I was hectic at times as well. So I thank you guys for just dealing with me.
Can I tell some stories of like how hectic you were and how much
how
like,
I don't freaking eat
like
during the weekend?
It's,
Like
no, it's not that. It's just like, you know, because we're there for you. So like if and you know you were on pretty much on call for interviews. So that's why when Bobby walked away, he made sure I was with you. And then like we stopped and I was looking at something, and then I turn around and you're gone. I'm like, crap, like I can't. It's happened twice. I was like, I can't stop for anything. Like, and then I turn around and I'm frantically looking for you because I'm like, well, what if you get in an interview and you don't have your crew with you to help you set up? So I'm like looking around and I find Bobby's like, have you seen Ricky? And then I messaged you and you didn't respond. And then he called you, and then you called me, and then we found you. And then we were walking around. I stopped to look at something and turned on. Y'all are both gone. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, we need to get matching shirts or like something, like a banner or something, so we can find each other.
Yeah. You know, but nonetheless, Ricky, it's a pleasure. It's an honor because number one, we get to come to this event, and number two, I get to support you, my cousin. And I really do believe in Spoiler Force and what you do. I really love that you're chasing your dream, and things that you want to do, and not just kind of like, you know, giving up and walking away from it because it's, you know, not what everyone feels like it should be, but you make it what it is for you. So I'm grateful. I'm sure Bobby would say the same. We're grateful that you brought us along with you for the adventure. And honestly, the picture that we took, it actually means a lot to me. Mainly because mainly because it's just like, you know, it shows us as a unit, and it's just, you know, three guys who just enjoy anime and, you know, this type of media, and it just shows us as a unit. We're just sitting there like a crew, you know. This is the gang, but also because I haven't had a good picture of me taken in a while, and I'm like, okay, I might.
Well, yeah, the only bad thing was that you guys had your glasses on, so that
I know,
the ring light,
I underestimated
the ring light was reflecting off your guys' glasses.
But yeah. Oh, we didn't mention, but the cosplay backdrops were there too, and those were actually really cool.
Yeah, they have the school setting and then the Japanese styled one. And Bobby wanted to do that one, but I was like, I don't want to sit down for this picture.
I
Like,
think
that
you should
table
have
was
been
so
on
low,
the
and then the one with the clouds.
I was like,
That
oh, that's
was
perfect for us. No.
no.
But we should have
I
put
I
you
like the
on
school
the
one.
but for the photo that we took, I think you should have been on the back seat because
Mm.
that's the main character. That's the MC spot right there in the back of the classroom against the window. But yeah, no, just want to do a quick shout out to them. They did a really good job. The props, the lighting. But you know, it's been my pleasure to come along on these adventures with you. So
Well, speaking of that as well, we might as well just plug this into. We'll be at Fan Dallas or Fan Expo Dallas in like less than 2 weeks.
2
So
weeks, less.
it'll still happen. Another adventure will still happen. But that one's gonna be, oh my god! I don't know if JJ sent you the floor plan, but like it's definitely like spread out. They actually have a section just for the guest and then a section just for Artist Alley.
I mean, because this is a more conventional. Kay Bailey Hutchison, I think. It's a much more conventional convention location because it's much more spread out. It's not 4 floors. So hey, I'm looking forward to that. And I know you've been messaging me like nonstop about all your plans, and I'm like,
yeah.
There's a lot, Ricky. It's we're here to.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about that too much on this eepisode, but we are going to do a, like how we did with AKon. We are going to do a pre Fan Expo
let's call it the
Dallas
pre
live
game
stream
or something.
Yeah, we're gonna like just get that too. We're just gonna talk about it probably next Wednesday or next Thursday before we go. I've put in a request for half a day, so hopefully that gets approved because Trina Nishimura is gonna have a panel on Friday, so she's the voice for Mikasa from Attack on Titan. But other than that, that's the next event that we'll be at, and that is the next episode as well for Spoiler Force. But for now, this is the end of episode 123. So again, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Again, this is just our not a hot take, but this is just our experience at AKon. All right? So overall, it was great. We did nitpick a little bit. There was a little bit of cons, but that's how all conventions are. There's always something good, something bad. But overall, that should not blind you or misjudge you or misjudge these events. Like AKon was phenomenal. Would I go back again as press? I would. Honestly, I would. I would love to go back as press. So the press team, please, if you guys hear this or watch this, I would love to do this again. If there's ever like moderator spots open, I love to try to do that. But one can dream.
It was a success.
Yeah, but overall, this con was great. This is probably one of the best cons I've gone to in a very long time, even before COVID. So AKon was great. But yeah, man. So again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force Podcast. I'll try to put all the links of the artists that we spoke about on the show notes and description, so you guys can check them out. If not, find them on Instagram or on Twitter. Also follow join the Spoiler Force Discord. That's still growing. I haven't been too active on it lately because I've been so caught up with everything else, but trust me, when things go back to normal in the next month or so, I will be back on the Discord, talking to the followers there. And then also, if you feel like being a patron as well, join the Spoiler Force Patreon. There is, as of this episode, there is one more spot left for a t-shirt, a Spoiler Force exclusive t-shirt. There's only 5 spots open. There was 5 spots, but there's only 1 spot left. You join the level 2 tier, join that. And then I've been giving updates on the shirts. I've been behind a little bit only because of the quality of the shirt. And I'm still trying to find a way to print it exactly how I want it. I don't want to just slap on the original Spoiler Force character on there and like, here you go, here's the shirt. I want it to be like when you wear it that you're a part of, this is something that's it. Like there's only going to be those 5 and then maybe a few for like personal, like for me, for Michael, for Bobby, but like for patrons or for listeners, there's only going to be 5. So you're going to be one of 5 that has that. And then for the other 5 patrons after that, you'll get a limited Spoiler Force print and sticker, which is still, that's limited. Like that, I'm not going to redo those or sell those. So that's it. There's only, like, that's it. That's all you'll get for Patreon for now. And then as the community grows, I'll try to come up with better things or do giveaways or something like that, because again, a lot of this stuff's coming out of my pocket, so just bear with me. But there's only 2 tiers, so you can either join level 1 or level 2. Either one is fine. You don't have to join it all. If you don't want to join, the content's still free. All I can ask is for you guys to share. But yeah, just continue to support. Make sure you guys follow Michael's art page as well. Michael's trying to push out some of his art, and then yeah, and then there's other great things coming up which I cannot announce yet, but once I'm allowed to announce it, then it'll be crazy. Yeah, so just follow us for now, and then again next week, make sure I get the dates right here. Next week, the 17th, will be Fan Expo Dallas, which will be there for all 3 days. We'll be, again, just like how we did this episode, we'll do that for Fan Expo Dallas. And then, yeah, just stay tuned for the next couple episodes after that. Just look out for the Rob McCollum episode. I just did one with Maita Vang as well. That's been recorded, so just keep an eye out for those. And then, yeah, again, thank you guys so much, and have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give a review and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want to get all Spoiler Force updates or even peeks at behind the scenes, you can join the Spoiler Force Discord community. And if you'd like to show support, give tips, recommendations, sponsorships, or any collaborations, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com.